Yo guys, this is Reinhardt, and this video is going to be about some theory crafting about the luck and decay, because there's some cool changes coming out and I think they're actually worth looking into, and a lot of people kind of miss a few things that I decided to address in this thing. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is, one of the main thing is actually a drain life, and a lot of people kind of miss that, but I think it's actually going to be a very good ability for 2v2 as well as for 3v3 against anything that is not very cleave heavy. So for example, mage luck or a elemental shaman luck or something that is like spellcaster related, that's not going to train the luck 24/7 and he can actually line aside and utilize his support to mitigate a lot of damage. That's, I think, the drain life spec will be way to go. So let's take a look at the drain life spec. First of all, we're going to pick a harvest of life because it increases the drain life healing by 150%. And then there's a glyph that further increases the healing of a drain life by 30%. And of course there is our beloved Soulburn as well. So we're gonna test out how much healing can it actually potentially do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually life tap myself to 0 HP. So no idea why I popped that shit. Let's remove that. Okay, so as you guys can see, I have almost no HP. So we're gonna pop our Soulburn and do one full drain life. And if you guys can see, it takes for about 51k HP. One drain life got about 90% of my HP healed back through. And that's of course with a Soulburn. Now without a Soulburn, just a basic drain life, I'm gonna show you how much it heals for. It heals for roughly about 34k. So, and then keep in mind that the drain life is also affected by a haste, and it's not even a 1 second a heal, it's like 0.93 seconds. So what comes out of it is actually a very good sustained healing that a lot of people miss, because this thing will top you off if you're gonna get a full drain life out. Now, a few things that actually synergize with the drain life exceptionally well. The very first thing is our Undying Resolve, because we're gonna be immune to silence for 8 seconds and interrupt. If the stuns are on diminishing returns, or there's no stuns at all available for the enemy team, we can get a full drain life out and a couple of those and top ourselves up, even while we're getting cleaved with Undying Resolve up at all times. This also increases the value of a glyph of Unending Resolve, because because it lowers the cooldown of Unending Resolve down to like 1.40 seconds. I believe they're still working on our 4-set bonus, and they're trying to make it so our gateway will be less of a cooldown base, like internal cooldown, meaning that you can use it more frequently. But rather than that, what is this going to be used for? Again, 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, 5v5 in RBGs. I would still probably value our Dark Regeneration over Drain Life, Harvest of Life. But other than that, I think it's a nifty ability. It's also synergized really well with the Archimon's Darkness that gives us 2 different charges on our Dark Soul. The reason why is because it's increasing our haste, and of course with a good amount of haste comes up a really good amount of drain lives that we can actually do. So I'm gonna wait for the last tick and I'm gonna show you full drain life with actual Dark Soul and Soulburn. So it heals for 54k. Again, it healed me for about 300k, and then again you can also spam this, and the increased haste time also affects your drain life, and it drops down into 2.72 seconds. So while you have your haste, while you have a Dark Soul up, guess what? Every 2 seconds you can heal roughly for about, I would say, about 300k. Well, of course in PvP it's going to be a little bit smaller, but still it's going to be very significant, and a lot of people missed it. And I think I'm going to be using it very often because I really like the sustained healing. Remember when I said the conversion is going to be a really good, amazing skill for DKs? Nobody believed me, but after that everybody started using it. I kind of think that the same thing applies here as well. So let's take a look at the second thing that a lot of people kind of like, it's not that great. It's this one, Soul Link, because it provides 20% damage baseline reduction, and it's freaking amazing because 20% damage mitigation is incredibly strong, especially because we lost our passive 10% damage mitigation. And of course we can actually also spec with Unending Resolve, with the Eternal Resolve, where our Unending Resolve is no longer going to be a cooldown. We won't be able to use it. It becomes a passive skill where it also increases our mitigation further by another 10%. So roughly we're gonna have about 30% damage mitigation, and of course if we're gonna be running a 2 PvP trinket, that's further increase our damage mitigation by another 10%. So we're gonna be rocking around about 70% resilience with a 30% damage mitigation from a Soul Link and Unending Resolve. And I know the mathematics there is not exactly 100% accurate, and that 30% damage mitigation will end up being like 33-34% because the way how it scales one ability after the other. But still, I think it's gonna be incredibly strong in 1v1 situation as well as 2v2 and 3v3. Now let's log on to our DK, and there's a I guess there's just a few couple things I want to show you. They're really not major. There's not many major changes. Our entire rotation as the DKs are gonna be changing big lag glitch, and I'm gonna make an Unholy DK Pressure Master and Affliction Lag Pressure Master after I'm gonna get my Rust off and get like really good at the game again. But for now I'm gonna show you one really cool ability, a glyph, and it's a glyph of regenerative magic. Remember, I really didn't like a glyph of anti-magic shell for a simply put because in my opinion that nobody tries to hit the DK when he has the AMS up because it energizes him back. Sometimes they can blow out through our AMS, but most of the time it's not. So in my opinion, the glyph was kind of a waste because a lot of people usually stop DPSing at DK once you pop your AMS, so the glyph is not utilized fully. But the new glyph of regenerative magic is actually amazing. But before I can show you the glyph, let me show you our new skeleton pet. Oh god, the guy looks awesome. I think on Orc it's also gonna look really good because Orc is gonna be a little bit bigger. But dude, I think he looks fun as hell. Not gonna lie. Anyway, so enough of that. Let's talk about glyph of regenerative magic, and that's one of the main things that I'm gonna showcase for a DK today. Basically, it's amazing. It reduces the cooldown of AMS up to 50% based on how many damage absorption we're gonna get. So for example, if you absorb like 25% of your HP when you pop AMS, then the cooldown of AMS is gonna be reduced by 25%. If you're gonna pop your AMS offensively and nobody is focusing you during that time, the cooldown of AMS is going to be reduced by 50%. Now their skill it kind of lowers the skill cap of the class because a lot of people are gonna be mindlessly popping AMS and they'll be like, well dude, whatever, my AMS is like 50% cooldown reduction because of the glyph. But other than that, the glyph is going to be extremely important when you're going to be doing hard swap to somebody and you want to AMS offensively so you can get some damage out. So let me show you the AMS. Are you looking at the cooldown right now? 45 seconds, right? So I'm popping my AMS, and as soon as it expires, you see it 40-second cooldown, it drops to 22-second cooldown. So it basically drops like 18 seconds overall. Which is not exactly a 50% because if it's 50 it would have been dropped to like 20 seconds, but still it drops up to 18 seconds of the cooldown, and then it less based on how much percentage of damage you're gonna mitigate. So like I said, if you're gonna, let's say, absorb 50% of the damage, then it's gonna drop the cooldown of AMS by just 9 seconds. But even at 9 seconds is a huge thing because it goes from 45 down to 36 seconds. So it's gonna help us a lot against the mages. We're gonna be amazing in duels against the casters, and I just think overall I really like the change. So other than that, that's about it when it comes to 5.4 nerd analyzing changes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm gonna be coming back, getting my Rust off, probably streaming every now and then, so help me out. Right now I've been playing a lot of Rift and a lot of having fun in the Rift as well. So if you guys want to see some Rift videos, I could actually post those as well. So anyway, thanks for watching, my friends, and до свидания.